Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew,
And I'm Vinny.
and today it's time once again for another WWE Ultimate Edition figure review.
And this time it's from the Monday Night Wars line exclusive to Walmart. And it's the WCW side of the war.
Because today we are taking a look at Lex Luger and his WCW gear from when he was World Heavyweight Champion.
Actually, from when he won the World Heavyweight Championship from the Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
So a very iconic moment captured in this figure here today.
Because this was one of the first times WCW got a victory over the NWO, who were running roughshod throughout the entire company.
So around exactly what year was this? Was this 98 still or 99? When was this?
Well, guess what? On the packaging, it actually says it, August 4th, 1997.
We actually have an exact date.
Yeah, which I'm starting to like with a lot of these Ultimate Editions for the Monday Night Wars. They go specific to the date, and you could actually track back the attires.
And we're going to spend a little bit of time to talk about that later on, but we're going to talk about this Ultimate Edition packaging really quickly. But we've seen it a bunch of times, so we don't need to go into too much detail.
No, it is your standard Ultimate Edition packaging. Nice open window to see everything that comes in this figure.
On the sides, we've got Lex Luger's name on one side, as the box tips over from all the weight and the power of Luger.
Yep.
And opposite side, we have an image of him. And on the back, we've got some more of the interesting stuff there, which is a photo of Luger in action, as well as a photo of the figure in action.
Which I always appreciate these in the Ultimate Edition.
And plus a little bit of a bio to help you contextualize when this figure is from and kind of give you a little bit of detail about this particular outfit.
Once again, it is from August 4th, 1997, when Lex Luger won the WCW Heavyweight Championship from Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And it does say it that they give a little bit of a bio of that event. For 463 days, World Heavyweight Champion Hollywood Hulk Hogan and the New World Order ran roughshod over WCW night after night. Finally, on the 100th episode of Monday Night Nitro, a hero in the form of Lex Luger dealt a critical blow to the NWO when he made Hulk Hogan submit and brought the title back to WCW.
So the guy who debuted on the first episode of Nitro wins the belt on the 100th episode.
Which I actually didn't realize that.
I didn't know that either.
No.
That's actually really cool.
So
I didn't honestly realize this was 97 when this happened. I would have assumed it would have been like 98 or something, but 97. Which
97, because you got to figure the NWO came around 96.
That's true. So this is fairly early on in the never-ending.
Yeah. So the unfortunate storyline that probably killed the company.
Ultimately, that definitely contributed to it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Many other things.
So, and of course, to add to the bio, gives Luger's height and build weight, build birthplace of Chicago, Illinois, tells us his finisher was a torture rack, which it was at the time, and does include his notable accomplishments of winning the WCW World Heavyweight title and also the WCW United States Championship.
Doesn't mention his tag title with Sting, though.
No, it does not. I wonder if there's a specific reason for that.
Could be because Sting is not contracted to the company.
Possibly, or they just didn't care about the title.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, with all that said and done, there's a lot of interesting stuff here that we're going to take a close look at in one moment, because this figure, it is quite unique in a lot of ways here.
Oh, yes, and you may have already seen it just from the image that you're seeing right here.
But our words aren't going to do it justice. We're going to show you guys. So let's go ahead, take this Lex Luger out of the box.
And into the ring. Now we got Luger back into the ring, and already upon first glance, as simple as a figure this is, it's actually pretty awesome.
That is a very good point, because I will admit that I think most Luger figures that we've gotten are fairly simple, because his outfit wasn't really that crazy, especially this type of outfit.
Yeah, actually the crazy time for his outfits were in the WWF.
That would have been as a narcissist and as USA Lex.
So, who knows? We'll get to that part at the end.
It is, yeah, a fairly basic looking figure as far as like what he's wearing, what his outfit is, the body we've seen, similarly in the past. So it's not really breaking new ground in that area, but it is doing a few different things in some other areas.
Yeah. And would you like to cut right to it?
I think we should here. So we're going to kind of jump ahead to accessories a little bit here, because that's where it's really exciting. And our Luger here is a member of the Hair Club for Men. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So our Luger's got a wig.
Actually has two wigs, if you want to say it.
So yeah, we have this kind of like long hair, wrestling hair looking version of his head.
And then we also have the ponytailed version of his hair. This is actually an interesting choice Mattel decided to make.
Yeah, because in addition to those two headpieces, we have an additional two heads.
Yep, which right now on Luger, we have the smiling face. In Matt's hands is more of a grittier face, and I would have the screaming face.
And because we have these hair pieces that are swappable, we have now the ability to make 6 different Luger heads.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah, because it's otherwise we'd basically be getting like, one head with one hair and then another head with different hair. In this case, though, 3 heads, and each head has the ability to put on a different hairpiece.
Which, yeah, I didn't realize it, that it's actually 6 different heads. I didn't realize it. It's 6 different heads we have.
Yeah, that's or 6 different permutations, if you will, if you want to get mathematical.
That's a good way to put
That
it.
is the good way to put it.
Yep.
But we're not gonna get into that stuff.
No,
We both
what,
failed math.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, that failed math.
No, I did well in math, okay?
I mean, maybe in kindergarten, but I don't know if you've done that.
No, I got a 96 on the Math B regions.
In 1st grade or?
No, in high school.
Oh, okay. And
And that's one of the hardest regions in New York State, okay?
who'd you pay to get that grade?
Nobody.
All right, sure, whatever. Last I heard,
Just because I'm
Italian.
Italian doesn't mean I'm in the mob.
He said it, not me.
Great, I'll be incriminated for this.
You said it, not me.
Stop making me say things.
Speaking to the microphone and keep doing the review.
Fine.
All right. So yeah, it's a lot of Luger to take basically all at once, which is really cool. And I will admit that I was skeptical about swappable hair at first, and I wanted to actually do swapperoo right now, in fact, and to see how it
Yeah.
works. But it's pretty clean, which okay, that actually it does in fact. I'll try to show it on camera. It actually does snap into place. There's an actual like snapping.
Yeah, there's a little mold in the head and in the hair. So
Yeah. I will say that you can clearly see on this side where the head kind of attaches. Less so on the opposite side. That's going to probably vary figure to figure, but it's not super noticeable. And
no,
even the figures that have hair, like for example, our great Muda here, you will see where
which
the
you could
hair
tell that's
attaches to the head.
exactly. Actually, I like this.
This works.
This works, and we've only had this one other time in at least Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
With the Doink the Clown that came exclusive with the new generation ring.
And before that, there was the Elite Doink that had that, as well as the Andre the Giant.
When it was a switch between his long curly hair and short hair.
Yeah, so they haven't done it that often because it was not that great. I'll be honest. Didn't really. It was fine, but didn't really.
Yeah,
look that good.
because it was like with the peg hole and everything.
Yes, did not work. But this is like a change in engineering, and it works a lot better.
Yes, because from afar, from a distance, you cannot even tell that this is a removable hair.
Especially with that longer hair, yeah.
No.
Pretty great.
Yeah, and I was afraid of that when I first saw that.
Yeah.
And when we saw pictures of this, I believe last Comic-Con.
Yeah. But I think we should probably get a head on him that has some hair, because this is really frightening to look at.
Yeah,
so-
that's the only thing I wish they would have given us a third option, honestly.
So let's do a swapperoo right now and
Yeah.
put that one on him.
But I will say, with this working well, I hope they do this for other Ultimate Editions as well.
I hope we do, and there's a lot of guys I wouldn't mind seeing this with. Like, for
Bret-
example, yeah,
Bret Hart.
Bret
Bret Hart's
he
the
could
first one that
desperately
comes
use
to
it.
mind.
He desperately could use some hair pieces, because his hair has always been a point of contention for a lot of collectors.
Yes, because the problem with the hair is when he has the strands of hair coming to the front, it's like, is it too thick or too thin? I don't know.
It depends who you ask.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I think they're finally starting to get Bret's hair a little bit better, but either
True,
way.
because listen, Mattel's been starting to really beef up its game when it comes to toys. This is hope for the future.
And as far as head sculpts, by the way, I think they're all perfect. Like, these are great Luger head sculpts.
Yeah.
What do you think? These are very, very excellent.
Oh, 100%. Definitely fits the time period. And actually, here's another point with this hair. Kind of could go back to earlier Luger as well, like NWA Luger.
Definitely. It's definitely younger Luger hair, yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of what I got with like the Legends when they put out maybe about a year or so ago. It's pretty much similar to, not the same, but it's pretty similar to it.
Similar to that, we had the Luger with the Wolfpack NWO.
That's the one, yeah.
That came also with the chase of classic Luger from the old NWA days.
But I think the hair is sculpted much nicer here. Really on both these. It's definitely an improvement over them.
100%. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't that Luger also come with 2 different heads? One with the ponytail and one with this hair?
I believe, no, it had 2 different heads. I don't remember a different hair, but I'm going to say yes to that. I'll prove it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And yeah, so heads are great, and that's really cool combination of things here. We'll just kind of talk about this thing. So we kind of talk about how simplistic the look is.
The attire, yes.
And it is. No denying that.
Like, has the typical Ultimate Edition articulation that we've become accustomed to over the years, with the butterfly joints, the drop-down hips, the
great poses.
100%. You could do all the classic Luger poses.
I think we have to try it. So I'm going to have to demist Muda for a second, because he's the only guy we brought here with us today to be able to handle this. I feel like we got to torture rack our great Muda. Did they ever compete in WCW? I feel like they must have, right? Yeah.
Yes, they did in the infamous Battle Bowl lottery, where it was like the 4-man tournament,
Oh yes, the Battle Bowl. I like the
which
Battle Bowl.
unfortunately Muta lost all his matches. But in that match with Luger, he just got himself disqualified by missing Luger in the face. He just didn't want to deal with Luger.
Well, there you go. I mean, really. And look at this. He actually is holding him up there. Like, you gotta get him in the right spot. His foot's a little stiff, this particular Luger. I will say that, but that's just.
But I think it depends on the figures itself.
Exactly. But we got him holding that, and we didn't bring any figure bases today. But even without the base, he's got the torture rack.
And he's synced in perfectly.
He really is, and that's the right head we put on him too. Way to go, us.
This is where the butterfly joints come into play, because I think with even an elite version of this Luger, there's no way you're gonna get a torture rack like this.
Not this deep, because like this is very deep on him. Oh, there he goes. It's a torture rack slam now, but
no, he was turning into the burning hammer.
It's a burning hammer now, yeah. But I mean, yeah, you could do it kind of with an elite, but not as effective. This
really is as best as a torture rack as you can.
Yeah, and if you actually had like a base to hold him up, it would be even stronger. But even here, I mean, he's actually rotating pretty well. Granted, our Luger, he looks like I haven't bent over a little bit, but not that much.
No, but
and again, he's got the arms in the spot that they should be.
Which, looking at that, this is pretty awesome that we got this torture rack in one try.
That is really great.
But again, typical articulation out of the Ultimate Edition. Simple black trunks, which he wore during that match. Simple black knee pads, simple white boots. With an attire this simple, they can't afford to screw it up.
No, it's pretty much fine. I mean, I'd love to have other Lugers later on down the line from the Ultimates, like Narcissist with mirrors and stuff. And
that is what I'm waiting for.
An All-American Luger.
We did just get an All-American Luger earlier in the year, but isn't WrestleMania coming up soon?
It sure is.
So we'll probably find out if we're getting more Ultimates of Luger, especially now that he's going into the Hall of Fame.
He is now a Hall of Famer, so we are bound to get more Luger figures with a lot more exciting colors. Because, again, he never really wore crazy outfits, but he did have a lot of different colors.
Yeah, well, around this time period, he did start slowing down on the colors.
He did, but we had other shirts as well and other things, so there's still some wiggle room.
And there is, if they want to go towards late end of WCW, we could go with the total package, Lex Luger, with the 2% body pad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that was the gimmick, yeah.
Yep.
Which was a fun time. And they in general, Mattel, you guys need to make more WCW figures from that era, from the end of their company, because they had some good stuff back then.
They did, and like...
we need a Yappa Pie 2-pack. I know we're not going to get a Flair until he re-signs with the company, if that ever happens, but at least...
Oh, no, please, why? Why did you have to mention that?
With Strapmaster Jimmy Hart. Yappa Pie #1, dude.
Yeah, please don't. I try to block that era of WCW out of my mind.
Yappa Pie #2, Jack. So in addition to our Yappa Pie Luger over here...
Yeah, and if you say we're going to get 7 next...
Good thinking.
I don't want to think that.
All right, so let's keep digging into this figure, though. And so besides that, we got a few accessories we didn't mention yet.
Yes.
The easiest ones to talk about are the hands. So we have 6 hands total. We have the 2 that are currently on him, which are the open gripping hands.
Yep. And then a pair of closed fists and a pair of, hold on, if I could get it to show, open hands. Which actually, I think the open hands would have worked better for that torture rack.
Those were definitely the ones meant for it, yeah.
But still, of all the hands to give them, these were the right choices.
And they're really the standard hands.
Yeah.
We get all
you could get these from anybody.
So we also have a few other cool accessories, one of which we've seen before, but there's actual storyline related to this.
Yes. We actually now get 2 sets of the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, unlike all the other World Championships we've gotten in the past, this is the first time in at least the Ultimate line we are getting the proper WCW World Heavyweight Championships. Most of the times that we got these WCW World Heavyweight Championships, it was the WWE version. And you could clearly see the WWE logo on the top of the belt.
And I believe the belts were also a little bit smaller and a little bit rounder.
Yes, correct. It was not as bulky as this.
And we should say this is really the second figure to do this in the whole line as of now, because the first one's actually right over here. We have it behind us, which is the Rick Rude.
Rick Rude. Which was funny that that's the Rick Rude that was when he was the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, not WCW, but we digress.
Yeah.
That's a different gripe.
But yeah, you are correct, though. These are essentially new belts. And we've gotten the WCW Heavyweight belt in many iterations, many figures over the years, but this is the first one that's actually accurate.
Correct. Because actually, I believe we were supposed to get these belts if the WCW Nitro entrance stage was crowdfunded.
That would have been the first time we would have gotten them, yes.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I'm still happy we're getting these belts.
So why do we have 2 belts, Vinny?
Well, here was the thing. When Luger won the title, that was when it had the NWO spray paint on it.
That'll be this belt right here. That's when he won it from Hogan, as we already talked about multiple times.
Yep.
On the back of the box. So that would have been his NWO belt there.
But however, upon winning that title, the first thing Luger did was wiped off that NWO spray paint.
And we just happen to have the other accessory.
A towel.
A towel. Yeah, a towel.
So essentially, if you want to recreate that image of Luger wiping off the NWO off the belt, you could do that.
Which is, when I first saw it, I was like, why does he have a little rag with him? But that's the actual reason. And I'm like, okay, that actually is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have the hands.
And it makes sense now why it is the 2 belts.
It does, yeah. And also, thankfully, because we have the butterfly joints, we can get him pretty close to like actually scrubbing it off.
Ooh, that's a nice pose.
I mean, it's kind of funny with his yelling head, but nonetheless.
Fair.
He's just going, ah!
Or no, he's going, how much do I have to scrub this belt off?
Yeah, right.
Again, great that we got these belts now.
Yeah, I like that they gave us both because we also haven't gotten an NWO heavyweight belt in a while.
No, we did not.
Like, I know we've gotten it a few times, but really not that many. Like, there's the Ultimate Hogan. That was the NWO colors.
Correct.
I think maybe the NWO Cena? No.
You might be right with that one.
Like, at least 1 or 2
But he would have had the WWE version, but that's a different story.
And there was a ringside belt multi-pack that had it.
That, and there was also a ringside Kevin Nash that had the Wolfpack version, which that one we would definitely do again.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't had that one since then. So it's a very rare belt, and now we finally have it again in this really nice Ultimate form.
Yep, and actually even rarer because now we have the accurate version.
And the towel.
And the towel to go with it.
The silly little towel that actually works.
Yep, exactly. Like you said, you're like, why? But guess what? There's always a reason. And if you haven't learned by now with Mattel, they do things for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Let's put a few other guys in the ring, by the way, now, just to kind of show you a little bit of a size comparison. I've got Great Muta over here.
And I got Dusty Rhodes over here.
You can kind of see the difference in their body size and everything. We recently reviewed both Dusty and Muta, so if you want to see more information about them, go ahead and check those videos out. I just love the variety, though, of these body types, of the sizes, of what they're doing these characters. Like, they all just look so unique now.
Again, because Mattel is really starting to put care into every figure they make, which I am appreciating that a lot.
It's a good time to be a collector.
Yes.
Terrible time for our wallets.
That's a different story, though, but oh well.
So overall, we're pretty happy with this Luger, and we're going to walk away with one final Luger pose as well. We'll do a quick hand swap because we already did a torture wrap, but we got to do his other signature move.
The Gorilla Press?
Yeah, so we're going to use those open hands and do one more swaparoo, because why the heck not? And I want to put a belt on him too. Let's put that heavyweight title on him, but yeah, you can, I think, still maybe find this Luger in certain places, but I mean, he's basically sold out online, I think, at this point.
This is where now, unfortunately, and this is where it stinks to be a store exclusive because you have to go the scalper route.
Fortunately, you do now, yeah, but I mean, this Luger might be worth it.
I would say so. I would say so because especially now that we're seeing Luger in this form, 100%, and we're probably going to get more Lugers. That irregardless. What I'm also hoping is we start seeing Ultimates with swappable hairs.
I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of that because there's a lot of guys who could benefit from
like
that.
We were mentioning Bret Hart.
Yep.
Also Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn will be good.
Shawn Michaels. We just got a Triple H also from the Monday Night Wars line, which now I think about it, that would have gone well with the swappable hair.
Yeah, really, anybody who's got long hair can do that.
And exactly.
You can finally get Kane with different levels of frizz.
You're right. We never got a frizzy hair Kane.
Yeah, well, now we can have a frizzy hair Kane. Problem solved. Thanks, Mattel. We did.
Yeah, please. Granted, we've got every single freaking Kane attire out there.
All 4 of them.
Good point.
Yeah, right. But yeah, this Luger's pretty great. I would say, if you're looking to get like one iconic Luger, maybe wait a little bit, because personally for me, I'd rather have like, the WWE run, WWF run, because I think those are more interesting. And I'm really waiting.
I would want, exactly. I want the Narcissist version.
Yeah,
that's
likewise.
the one.
I mean, I want another USA Lex, because it's just really cool. But as far as accessories and value, they can have a lot more fun with the Narcissist.
100%. And we're due a Narcissist figure. We haven't had a Narcissist figure in years.
That was an elite long time ago.
Long time ago, and good luck finding that one.
Yeah, so it's bound to happen.
And actually, that one was during the infancy of no, Mattel was still in their like early days, and there were plenty of mistakes on that figure.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're digressing, but again,
But I digress, Jones, in honor of Taz.
there you go, good boy.
Yes, but I think this video is not that elite, but this toy is pretty freaking spectacular.
Oh yeah, it's not just elite, it's ultimate.
There you go. And yet, holding him up, no base, no strings
No.
here. There ain't no magic, just the magic of my ability to pose action figures. Oh, that's right, baby, that's right.
Oh yeah.
All right, so on that note, that's our look at the Monday Night Wars Ultimate Edition Lex Luger. I stole your line.
Yeah, great.
You can say it again if you want.
No.
Okay.
Because you're gonna steal it again.
I will. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Just try it anyway. See what happens. We might work out in your favor. I'll look over there.
Lex Luger.
Luger.
See, you were too late on that one.
I gave you half of it.
Thank
We're
you.
sharing. We're tag team champions.
Thank you.
Like Sting and Luger.
There you go.
I'm Sting. So until next time, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Vinny.
That's our look at Luger. We'll see you guys later at more action figure reviews and everything else we do here on Nerd News Today. What's Luger's catchphrase?
I'm the total package.
That's his flex. Ah!